As we gather together, we acknowledge that the land upon which our church and homes exist is the ancestral land stolen from the people of the Shoshone Bannock, the Shoshone Paiute, Coeur d'Alene, Kootenai, and Nez Perce nations, along with many other tribes whose names have been lost in history. We acknowledge that our presence here today is founded upon the exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples. With this acknowledgement, we wish to demonstrate our ongoing commitment to the work of dismantling the legacies of settler colonialism. We honor indigenous peoples' connection to the land and support their right to sovereignty.
Good morning. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm the Reverend Sara LaWall. It is my great honor to serve this beloved community and welcome you to worship this morning. We are a spiritually diverse, justice-seeking religious community with one great aim: to grow in love. Love for our neighbor, love for self, love for our planet. So we welcome all of you who join us this morning. A special welcome to our friends joining us online. Let's turn around and wave at our cameras and say hello. We also invite you to turn on your cameras for a brief moment so we can see you and welcome you there. Oh, I love that holiday background. Good morning, friends. It's so good to have you. Thank you for joining us. A reminder that we worship together as one beloved community beyond the walls of this sanctuary. We are a community dedicated to welcome. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whomever you love, however you identify, you are welcome here. However you pray, if you pray at all, whatever your religious background, you are welcome here. A special welcome to our newcomers, those that are joining us for the first and second time. We know it takes a lot of courage to step inside a new community, and we thank you for choosing us this morning. We're really glad to have you with us. I have a few announcements to share with our whole community. First, our hospitality gratitude today goes to Patty Hedges, Kathy Sandstrom, Lori Peterson, and Nikki Lamb, providing our coffee and treats. After the service in our hospitality room today, I also want to say a special thank you to all of the families and young people who helped decorate and beautify this sanctuary for the holidays last weekend. It's really wonderful. It's one of my favorite times of year to kind of watch the sanctuary transform, our magical rainbow chain that went on for miles, the bedazzled tree, all of it. Thank you so much. It was really fun to be together last week doing that work. I also want to have a quick celebration of a wonderful service work that happened among some members here. Rick and Becky Groff, along with Diane Dorias, thanks to the help and support of many of you, delivered a whole trunk full of books to Duck Valley for a children's library for their new community center, and really worked hard with so many of you that all of these books, almost all of these books, are written by or are by Native authors or are about Native Indigenous experience. And you can see some of those titles up there. So we just wanted to toot their horn for a moment and celebrate that commitment that we hear every week in our land acknowledgement is being lived out in the community on behalf of this congregation. So thank you all for doing that. A quick reminder about all of our holiday services and happenings. Our annual winter solstice service will happen on December 21st at 6 p.m. It is likely we will start outside and then work our way inside, so bundle up and dress warm for that. And then Christmas Eve, as it falls on a Sunday this year, we'll have two services, our regular 10 a.m. worship service and then our 5 p.m. traditional Christmas Eve service with candle lighting and silent night. If you are worshiping with us on Zoom for any of those services for any reason, we're creating some holiday worship gift bags. And this year we have a whole host of elves that are willing to deliver them to you. So if you would like a gift bag, please let Nancy Harms know. You can do that in the office. You can email her. She'll put her email in the chat. If those of you who are here in person, or you'll come next week and you want to take a bag with you because you'll be out of town, we'll make some available as well. And it has all of the necessary worship items for our services: candles, flash paper, some treats, some liturgy, so that you can enjoy your worship time at home and set up your space and worship with us. Our fellowship donates 25% of our unpledged plate offering to a local organization whose mission aligns with our commitments to social justice. And this month, we're proud partners of the Idaho Crisis and Suicide Hotline, supporting all Idahoans who are struggling with suicidal thoughts, mental health challenges, addiction, relationship challenges, and any other crises. If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call or text 988 at any time, day or night, 24 hours a day, and a trained crisis responder is ready to listen. Our spiritual theme for this month is reverence, the practice of paying attention. And today we have a special music-centered service celebrating the reverence of Hanukkah, the Jewish celebration of Hanukkah, the miracle of light in story and music. So we're delighted to have our choir and musicians with us. Our Unitarian Universalist sources of wisdom name the teachings and traditions of world religions, including Judaism, as sources of truth and value and wisdom for us in our faith. And particularly right now in this moment, at a time when our world cries out for peace, when war is raging and atrocities continue in the very lands from which Judaism emerged, the message of miracles, of light and liberation, of peace and freedom and pluralism, all messages found in the ancient story of Hanukkah. These messages are needed now more than ever. And as I was putting together the liturgy for today's service with a bit of struggle and inner tension, because I know that there are very strong feelings about the war in Gaza that are dividing people and communities and tearing apart families. And as someone who comes from Jewish ancestry and a long line of ancestors, I'm trying to sort through my own complicated feelings and histories. But I remember when I found the Unitarian Universalist Church, one of the reasons I stuck around and stayed was because I didn't have to give up any part of my religious identity in order to feel a part of the faith and the traditions and the practices and the community. And that's been true for so many different people of so many different faith traditions and ancestries coming into Unitarian Universalism. And I kept returning to this reminder that many of the world's religions, particularly the Abrahamic faith traditions, they emerged and came into their fullness in response to, even in resistance to, the control, and we might even say the tyranny and oppression of the reigning empire of their time. So it's a reminder to us that honoring the wisdom and celebrating the beauty and the powerful stories of traditions in any faith is separate from approval or allegiance to any ruling empire, even if some of its leaders hold that same religious identity. And at a time when anti-Semitism is surging and casts a shadow of fear in Jewish households who are afraid to display their menorahs for safety concerns, expressions of solidarity from other faith communities send a powerful message of support and compassion. So today we ask, how can we be the light? How might our reverence for this holy tradition and its people inspire us in the vision for peace, for justice, and for liberation for all people? So as we enter into this time of worship together, let's all take a breath together. Fill your body with breath. Breathe, knowing your breath connects you to your body, to one another in community, to this planet. Our breath offers us the opportunity for stillness, to tune in to our spiritual center, to listen deeply to our heart's own longing. Thou art the song of my heart in the morning. Thou art the dawn of truth in my soul. Thou art the dew of the roses adorning. Thou art the woven whole. Thine is the grace to be steadfast in danger. Thine is the peace that none can destroy. Thine is the face of the need-driven stranger. Thine are the wings of joy. Thou art the deep, to the deep in me calling. Thou art a lamp where my feet shall tread. Thy way is steep past the peril of falling. Thou art my daily bread. Thine be the praise of my spirit uplifted. Thou art the sea to each flowing stream. Thine be the days that are gathered and sifted. Thou art the deathless dream. Choir for bringing the Spirit alive in the room this morning. We were talking with a choir member earlier. Sometimes centering is about building up that energy inside us for the celebration, so thank you for doing that. Each week, we light a flaming chalice, the symbol of our free faith, a beacon of hope, love, and justice. And we join in this lighting in solidarity and community with thousands of other Unitarian Universalists lighting chalices in churches, homes, and virtual worship spaces, reminding us that we are connected to one another and to a larger community of faith and love. This is also the season of Advent, the season of intention and reverent anticipation. As Unitarian Universalists, Advent asks us, what are we waiting for and preparing for in our own lives and in the life of the world? This is a season of long nights, and Advent invites us to explore those themes of hope, peace, joy, and love in the darkness. On our sanctuary tree wall over there, we have shared a UU holiday history Advent calendar. Each day shares a piece of holiday history that is connected to Unitarianism or Universalism or Unitarian Universalism, depending on the year. And today, on the 10th day of Advent, we open the calendar door to see Christmas scenes from Little Women, one of my very favorites. Unitarian Louisa May Alcott wrote over a dozen Christmas-themed stories and poems in addition to the Christmas scenes in Little Women. Her description of a holiday with the March family nurtured a growing sense of American nostalgia for a Christmas only newly imagined. We also light the second Advent candle on our evergreen wreath. Thank you, Roger, for opening our Advent calendar door. Appreciate that. The second candle on our wreath represents peace, a fitting reminder, particularly for today and today's service. In this time of expectancy and celebration, we are invited to hold the ideal of peace. Even though wars rage around the world and sometimes in our own hearts, we recognize that peace arrives gently to an open heart. And only when we can receive and tune our own hearts into peace can we bring that peace out into the world. As Greta Watson lights our chalice and Advent candles here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you in our virtual community to light your chalice and any additional candles you have, and then share in the chat where your lights of peace shine this morning. Lighting those lights of peace takes some patience, don't they? With our collective chalices lit in all of our worship spaces, we offer you this call to worship from the Reverend Mark Bellatini. We are here, a community gathered in peace, to worship in peace. To worship in peace, circling with the circling stars. Circling with the generations, circling with the eyes of all who live on earth. Together, in deliberate peace, we turn toward deeper peace. We turn toward visions of deeper justice. We turn and turn until compassion is native to our hearts. Praise for the world, praise for life. Praise for the opportunity to circle together again in peace. Come, let us worship together. Thank you, choir. Gosh, that's beautiful. I would like to invite our young people down front with me here today. Thank you. And Mike, I realize I didn't put a microphone on. Would it be possible to get a handheld mic? Thank you. Come down here. Do you recognize this thing in this thing? Yeah? You recognize it? The Wonder Box is back, everybody. Thank you. Yay, the Wonder Box is back. I wonder if you know what might be in there. If you know what might be in there even without looking. Mac? Last time there were presents. There's not presents. Well, it depends on your interpretation of the word presents. But that was last time. It's a new day. It's a new Wonder Box.
There's air in there.
Okay, Cambria, there likely is air in there. Let's see what is in our Wonder Box. Would you take that out for me and stand up and show it to everybody, please? And not that one. This is the big one. Yeah, that's left over from the presents. Okay. Oh, voila! What is this? It's a menorah. Very good. How many of you have a menorah at home? Yeah? Some of you out there? This is my menorah from home. It's really kind of silly and goofy and fun and pretty. So I thought that it would be fun to tell the story of Hanukkah together again, since that is the focus of our service today. And to bring you a bunch of different menorahs. So I have a few others. When we're done, I'll show you, because they come in all different shapes and sizes. So the story of Hanukkah is it's a tough story, because it's the story of how the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed by the army under a Syrian king, part of the Greek Empire, King Antiochus. And he and his army went into the Jewish temple in Jerusalem and destroyed it. I mean, really, they just destroyed it. And then Antiochus decided that he should abolish Judaism and outlaw any practices or observances or rituals of Judaism. And then he had his army come in and start to install idols of the Greek gods in the temple, and renamed the temple Zeus, after Zeus. and forbid the practice of Judaism. Now, I like Zeus too, Mac, but it seems, imagine for a moment if an army, a national army, came into our church and sanctuary and destroyed it. Imagine if they smashed up our chalice. Imagine if they took everything off the walls and all the art and the names and the artifacts that mean something to us. Imagine if they destroyed this beautiful, extraordinary pulpit now that you have learned the story of the pulpit. Imagine that they put up all of their own symbols, and we didn't love Zeus right then so much. And they put up all of their own symbols, and then they said they outlawed any mention or practice of Unitarian Universalism. Imagine how that would feel, Brielle.
I think it'd probably feel bad.
Yeah. It would feel awful. I would be devastated. And I would be really scared. And I'm sure if it happened, there would be some of us who would want to fight back and try to retake our space. It's ours after all. And that's what happened in the temple time. A ragtag family band army is a loose term called the Maccabees resisted and fought back against the army for years. They fought for years. And they fought many battles, and finally they won enough battles. They were much smaller. They were not as big as the army they were fighting. And finally they won, and they were able to take back their temple. Now, Hanukkah is the festival of lights. So maybe you're wondering, why does this story of fighting and war and the temple, what does that have to do with light? Do some of you know what that has to do with light? Yeah, Carissa?
I remember a little bit, like, they lit a candle that was supposed to last for a day, but it lasted for 8 days.
Yeah, very close. So they wanted to light a flame, the eternal flame. This was a holy flame. This was a flame that dedicated the temple space that in temples was always supposed to stay lit. And so they wanted to light that flame in order to consecrate and rededicate the temple and take it back and make it sacred again. And they were only able to find oil. It was an oil lamp, much like our chalice over there. They were only able to find oil that they thought was enough for one night. And so then they sent one of their friends off to go find more oil, and they lit their lamp, and it turns out that it lasted for 8 nights. And for them, this was a miracle. And it was a miracle that reaffirmed for them that God was really with them, and God had never left them. And so on Hanukkah, we light a candle on each night to celebrate the 8 nights of Hanukkah. And in Hebrew, the word Hanukkah means dedication. And so it's nice for us, especially those of us who are not Jewish by birth or ancestry or practice, to ask ourselves, well, in the Hanukkah season, what will we do to rededicate ourselves? What will we dedicate ourselves to? What should this community dedicate itself to? And so every menorahs are a little bit different. I have two others here to show you. From my house, I like menorahs, and they belong to family members, so I like to keep them. So a menorah always has 8 candle holders, 1 for each night, and then a 9th that we call the shamash candle. And shamash means helper. It's the helper candle, and you light that candle first, and then that candle lights all the other candles. And so I think at this time of year, it's a really good idea, again, for us, those of us who are not Jewish, to ask ourselves, how are we being the helpers to spread the light in the world? So we're going to light our church menorah here, and normally we would light the Hanukkah candles at night. It's customary to light them at sunset or at dark, but we're going to do it in the daytime here for the sake of being able to honor it together as a community in our worship service. And because we're doing it during the day, we're only going to light the 3 candles for the 3 nights of Hanukkah thus far. And so then tonight we would light the fourth. So we're going to light it from our chalice. We're going to light our candles. And then we're going to hear the traditional Hanukkah blessings that are going to be sung by my colleague, the Reverend Joanna Lubkin, who made a video to share with UU congregations. And she's a Unitarian Universalist minister, but she also studied for a brief time to be a rabbi. And so she put this video together. So first, let's light the menorah, and then we'll listen to the blessings. Okay, I'm going to light the shamash candle. You want to come up and help me light the candles? What's your name? Eden. Hi, Eden. Okay, so we're going to start with the first candle here and light all the way in. You're going to have to hold it there for a minute, right on the edge, because it's a brand new candle, so it's going to take a minute for that wax to. There you go. Next one. Lovely. Thank you, Eden. All right, let's listen to the blessings.
Baruch atah Ad Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Here's number 2. Baruch atah Ad Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem b'hazman hazeh.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for sharing in this beautiful ritual of light. And I will remind you to think to yourself, what will you dedicate yourself to this year? And how can you be a helper to be the light in the world? Who remembers our Earth teacher? Yes, Greta? What is it?
It's like,
The Earth teacher for this month. Do you remember what we did last week? Anybody remember what we did last week, Mac? A star. A star. And what was our practice with the star last week? Yeah, so as I'm going to invite you to stand, and as we sing together our community blessing, let's have a moment of star pose. And those of you out there, you can join in a little star pose moment. Yes? This is how we bring the light into our hearts, right? Star pose, yes. Okay, let's sing. And if we have some older youth, you can head out this way with Teresa today. Yes. Thanks, everybody. Doesn't that feel nice? Feels so nice. As a community of faith, we dedicate ourselves to the values of this faith, to remind ourselves of the many gifts that we have to offer. And we give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space and being together. And we give as a blessing for those who are struggling. We give with the faith that together we have enough. And today and this month, we share those gifts with our plate partner, the Idaho Crisis and Suicide Hotline 988. As an expression of our commitment to living out our values in the world. I invite our ushers to please come forward Our offering will now be gratefully received. Our reading this morning is titled Anu Hanarod Hallelu. We light these lights, a prayer for Hanukkah by the Rabbi Brant Rosen. And that Haner Hallelu is this version of the song that we just heard right before the time for all ages with the choir singing. It's an ancient chant mentioned in the Talmud that reminds Jews of the sacred nature of Hanukkah lights and commemorates and publicizes the Hanukkah miracles. The song says that one's sole intent in kindling Hanukkah lights is to share the miracle, publicize the miracle, and thus it is forbidden to use the lights in any other way. So here is our reading this morning. We light these lights for the instigators and the refusers, the obstinate and unyielding, for the ones who kept marching, the ones who tended the fires, the ones who would not bow down. We light these lights for the sparkle that guide us on, for the sparks that guide us on through the gentle night, for the darkness that swaddles us in its soft embrace, until the moment we inevitably emerge into life renewed. We light these lights for the spirit of resilience that remains after our strength has ebbed away, for the steadfast knowledge, even as the bullets echo repeatedly, that the impunity of the powerful cannot last forever. These lights we light will never be used for any other purpose but to proclaim the miracle of this truth. It is not by might, nor by cruelty, but by a love that burns relentlessly, that this broken world will be redeemed. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca and Carrie. Gorgeous. When I think about how we can be the light of this season and this story, I think about how we come together in community to hold each other up, to carry one another through those dark times, to be the light for others. So we open up a space each week to invite in the joys and sorrows of this beloved community so that we can carry each other and hold each other and be the light for one another. And it's through our sharing that we forge those deep bonds of connection. As we begin our time of joys and sorrows this morning, and our folks worshiping online, you are welcome to share yours in the chat. I share with the whole community the joy that Brian Jennings is home from the hospital, looking forward to calls and visits and texts. And another joy that Esther Kleinkopf just had a kidney transplant, a new kidney, and she should be back in Boise in a month, but it went well and she's doing well. If you are holding someone in your heart this morning, I invite you to speak their name or write their name into this community of care that we might hold them with you. May the arms of this community hold all our joys and sorrows, those named and those that remain silent and close to our hearts. May we feel the grace that surrounds us and be transformed by the spirit of life and love, with warmth to celebrate our joys and a gentleness to soothe our aching hearts. Let us breathe together. Fill your body with breath. Breathe into the sacred space. Breathe in the light. Breathe with this beloved community filled with loving kindness. Listen to what is calling you in the silence. Amen.
Thank you to India Ari for this beautiful tune. I am no India Ari. I've simplified it, and one of the things that I did was make the chorus into a chant. I always feel better when people sing along with me. I love a good sing-along. The words for the chant are just, I am light, I am light. We do it 4 times for each chorus. The trick with a chant that you're starting and stopping is knowing when to stop. So I'll give you a little clue. When you see this, it means it's the 4th time, and then I'm going to sing the verse for you, and then we'll jump back in. Give me a little thumbs up if you can do that for me. Oh, thanks. That makes me feel better. I am light. Join me. I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I am not mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. You guys sound great. Sing it out. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Like you mean it. I am light. I am light. Nice and soft. I am light. I am light.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you for inviting us to join you in that chant, because I asked for this song, for this service, because to me, in this moment, that was the defining message that I wanted to carry with me, that I wanted to all of us to impart. This I am light. So we got to say that and sing that a number of times through. We are light. And we can ask ourselves, how can then we be the light? If we are the light, then how can we be the light for other people? How can we be the light in the world? It's customary for Jews celebrating Hanukkah to place their lit menorahs in the window for a public display of their faith. It's a mitzvah, a commandment, to publicize God's glory. But this year, with reports of anti-Semitism up 388%, many Jewish families are choosing not to display their menorah, worried about potential retribution from angry neighbors. Last year, a San Diego neighborhood where one family displayed their menorah discovered swastikas sprayed on the sidewalks the next day. This year in Los Angeles, Adam Kolbersh told his 6-year-old son that they would not be decorating or displaying their menorah this year out of concerns for their safety. And as Adam was lamenting this story to a friend of his, she offered to display a menorah in her own window in solidarity, even though she and her family were not Jewish. And Adam was so touched by the offer that on a whim he created Project Menorah on Instagram. And he encouraged non-Jews to place a menorah alongside their other seasonal decorations in their windows this December in fellowship with Jewish friends and neighbors who might not otherwise feel safe to do so due to the rise in anti-Semitism. And participants then were encouraged, as one does on Instagram, to share their photos and decorations with the hashtag Project Menorah and hashtag Only Love Lives Here. And in less than a month, the project has gained more than 3,000 followers on Instagram alone, is now on Facebook, it has a website, and is growing with invitations and with posts from all over the world. And so this weekend, I made sure that we put our menorah in the window, and I printed one out from the website or offering printable menorahs to hang on your windows or front doors. And as I was taking a walk in our neighborhood this weekend, I spent time really looking at all of the houses in my neighborhood to see if there were any other menorahs in the windows or any other evidence of Hanukkah celebrations. I saw none. A lot of beautiful Christmas decor, a lot of nativity scenes, but no Hanukkah. And it made me wonder if any of my neighbors were Jewish or how they were feeling this year. Project Menorah reminds people of the historic legacy of non-Jews stepping up to help and support Jews when they have been threatened, from the family that hid Anne Frank and her family in their attic, to the activists who helped thousands of Jews escape Soviet oppression, to the millions who spoke out online and offered help and support after the shooting at the Tree of Life synagogue. And that kind of beautiful solidarity and community outreach is the best example of what it means to live in a pluralistic society and to really embrace it. A few years ago, I was reminded on my Facebook memories that a few years ago, when there was some vandalism discovered at the Anne Frank Memorial, and this was still in the COVID times, if several of us gathered together on that Hanukkah night after the vandalism, brought our own menorahs. I got the pictures popped up today on my Facebook page. Brought our menorahs, lit our menorahs. Some of our Jewish friends said the blessing, and then we just stood there in silence for quite a time with all of these different menorahs lit on the benches of the Anne Frank Memorial. That is pluralism. That is what a community who values that kind of difference does for one another. And that pluralism is a core value of our Unitarian Universalist faith. We are a faith that intentionally and publicly welcomes a wide variety of religious beliefs and spiritual practices. And we've been champions of not just religious diversity in our own spaces, but a haven for religious refugees who are seeking community where they can honor multiple religious identities. And we're champions of that in the public square as well. We recognize the importance of what it means to hold the value for religious freedom in our communities, for true religious freedom in our government, because our own freedom to be Unitarian Universalists depends on it. And we know that it isn't really freedom if it's only available to one group of people. And not only is this country's history embedded with these ideals of religious freedom, not always well practiced, but our ever-growing global society, in that ever-growing global society, religious diversity is everywhere. And we really have to learn how to live in community together. We have to try to embrace those differences and find some commonalities with love and curiosity and respect. And the Maccabees had to embrace that pluralism too. They were known for their Jewish fundamentalism. They were known for resisting the Hellenistic influences of Greek culture, which were taking root in Jewish culture as well. And that was as much a part of their years-long battle as was resisting the attacks and harm by the king and his army. And after the fighting ceased, they took back their temple, they rededicated the temple, but all the people still had to live in community together. They had to live with each other, alongside one another, and figure out how to be a society together. The Maccabees had to rededicate themselves, moving from war-making to peacemaking, and living with and among the Hellenists and the less observant Jews, living in their own pluralistic community. And it's probably realistic to presume that this rededication took quite a long time, and that it wasn't instantaneous. And that kind of shift never is. Perhaps then the miracle is in the rededication itself, annually. Hanukkah, meaning dedication, each year gives us an opportunity to ask, what will I dedicate myself to? Just as I asked the children today, what should we as a community dedicate ourselves to? How will we be the miracle of light in the world? If we dedicate ourselves to the miracle of pluralism, to community and solidarity in the face of war and violence and public hate, then it's so important for us to see menorahs in public and celebrate the public identity of our Jewish neighbors. If we dedicate ourselves to the miracle of liberation, to the universalist message that God wants all of creation to be free from suffering, the oppressed and the oppressors, then we recognize that our liberation is bound up with one another, and we must do our own work of learning and unlearning. We too must find ways to counter the forces of empire in our own lives and communities so we do not perpetuate the oppression. If we dedicate ourselves to the miracle of peace, even when peace seems impossible, then we must lead with love. We must love our neighbor as ourselves. We must embody the words, I am light, and feel it within so that we can share it outwardly in the community. We must turn our anger into love and replace revenge with love. Give with love, embody love even when it's hard, even when we're faced with challenges, even when we're faced with disagreements and mistrust. And in all of this, there will need to be a rededication of the heart. The Hanukkah light, the light of dedication and hope, the light that cleansed the desecrated temple, is a reminder that any violence anywhere is a desecration. And the message of the 8 nights of light is that liberation and liberating minds and hearts takes time and something miraculous. And all we can do is be the light. May it be so. Thank you, choir. What a gift. Friends, I invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. I offer you this prayer adapted from the words of Rabbi Erwin Keller. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery, God of many names and no name, God of peace and love and liberation. Today, let us take sides. Let us take the side of peace. Peace which will not abandon even when its voice is drowned out by hurt and hatred, bitterness of loss, cries of right and wrong. Let us take the side of peace, whose name has barely been spoken in this winnerless war. Let us hold peace in our arms and share our body's breath lest peace be added to the body count. Let us call for de-escalation, even when we want nothing more than to get even. We will do it in the service of peace. We will make a clearing in the overgrown thicket of cause and effect so peace can breathe for a minute and reach for the sky. Let us do what we must to save the life of peace. Let us breathe through tears. Let us swallow pride. Let us bite our tongues. Let us offer love without testing for deservingness. So let us not wave a flag unless it is the flag of peace. Let us not sing an anthem unless it is a song of peace. Let us not take sides unless it is the side of peace. Amen. Shalom. Let us rise and sing together as one congregational choir to close out this beautiful service of music with our hymn number 221 in your gray hymnal, and the words will be on the screen, Light One Candle. Over your heart for our closing blessing. Let us embrace the miracle of light, the light within and the light we bring to one another in the world. Let us rededicate ourselves to liberation for all beings. Let us rededicate ourselves to love. Let us rededicate ourselves to peace. Be the lights, beloveds. Blessed are we all. Go in peace.